Ambition comes in many forms in filmmaking, from the innovative visuals of film noir to the editing of the French Nouvelle Vague to the soundscapes of David Lynch's filmography. Yet, the greatest ambition is always the one that pushes the thematic limits of the medium, drawing new boundaries on what cinema can accomplish in its exploration of the truth. The sights and sounds of movies pave the way to that which we cannot see, the human soul. Directors like Robert Bresson, Krzysztof Kieślowski, and Terrence Malick have built careers out of unveiling the human spirit, and among their ranks should be added Paul Thomas Anderson, whose 21st century works have delved into the interior lives of their characters and the complexities arising from their often contradictory and tortured natures. In 2007, Anderson's magnum opus There Will Be Blood combines luxurious craft and stunning acting to explore the most intricate relationship in humanity, the spiritual and the material.
Anything the church can do for you.
Daniel Day-Lewis's towering creation of Daniel Plainview, an early 20th century oilman in the Californian wilderness, is an embodiment of capitalism. Sheer cunning and acute reasoning make him a formidable force that dominates everything in his path.
Once we find it, we can take it right out. We have to act quickly, as very soon these fields will be dry. So, I need you to know what you want to do.
Loosely adapted from Upton Sinclair's 1927 novel Oil, Anderson's screenplay avoids the typical cliches of its genre. The great obstacle to Plainview is not a rival business, but rather religion. As There Will Be Blood personifies capitalism in its protagonist, it presents religion through the character of Eli Sunday. Paul Dano's portrayal of Eli Sunday does not posit him as Plainview's antagonist, but rather as an inept collaborator.
I wish I had more time with Joe Gunda. More could have been done.
Then the well can produce and blow gold all over the place. Now, would you see to it that his personal possessions find their way back to his family, please? Thank you.
Daniel Plainview's moves to buy the untapped land in Little Boston are not met with opposition, but rather with negotiation.
What about our oil?
Yet in the relationship of faith and business, business dominates.
Amen.
Richly symbolic visuals reveal Plainview to be a pioneer, ushering in new technologies. The railway is superseded by Daniel's car, showing him as forging new roads that will conquer new lands. Staking a claim on the land, Daniel Plainview controls his own destiny, whereas the fledgling Church of the Third Revelation is stagnant and stationary. Eli's claims to prophetic office and authority are reduced to begging and marginalization. In There Will Be Blood, the movement of religion towards capitalism is a Faustian bargain.
Any questions that you might have? Yes.
Will the new road lead to the church?
Well, that'll be the first place that it leads. Thank you, Eli. Anyone else?
After tragedy results in the death of an oil rig worker and Daniel's adopted son is rendered deaf, Eli is humiliated as he seeks money for his church.
Aren't you a healer? And a vessel for the Holy Spirit? When are you coming over and make my son hear again? Can't you do that?
In the pursuit of capitalism's goods, the church abandons its purpose and fails to produce any fruit of its own. The material subsumes the spiritual, mimicking and mocking it as it slowly replaces it. When the final obstacle to Daniel's conquest, the landowner Bandy, realizes he can leverage the oilman's desire for a pipeline for a forced conversion, Eli and his congregation humiliate and draw a public confession out of Daniel.
You have abandoned your child.
I've abandoned my child.
I will never.
But they fail to convert him. The willingness to engage Daniel on his own terms leaves him ultimately defeated. The money funds Eli's own future and missionary work, which ends in failure and his returning to Daniel for only further financial support. In the climactic confrontation, it is finally revealed that Daniel held the power all along.
I'd be happy to work with you.
Capitalism does not care about the eternal or spiritual. It simply progresses and consumes. Eli is not simply humiliated, but reduced to a fraud and at last defeated.
I prophet God is a superstition.
In There Will Be Blood, capitalism defeats religion by religion's willingness to enter into partnership with it.
I drink your milkshake.
Capitalism's victory, as personified by Daniel Plainview, is ultimately religion's greatest failure because it fails to save Plainview from himself. By the film's end, he is lost and alone. The spiritual is crushed, and redemption is rejected, leaving Daniel in his false paradise marked by isolation, despair, and death.
I'm finished.
Paul Thomas Anderson has reached to the heights of filmmaking's thematic limits, employing the tools of cinema to ponder nothing less than the interplay of Western civilization's two greatest forces. For the audience, the truth of religion's embrace of capitalism is laid bare. There is no grace, no salvation, no faith. There is only blood.